Here we go again. Two more phonographs. This time they are the cabinet styles. I bought these on Facebook Marketplace for 60 bucks. That's all I paid. They were originally asking for 50 bucks each, but considering how plentiful these things are and just nobody's really out looking for phonographs anymore. Nobody cares about them. And, well, most people have electronic turntables and they can play every single record size. So the purpose of having these around is just not practical anymore. But I still have a love for these old record player cabinets, and couldn't pass it up. I offered them 60 bucks and yeah, they took it. So the one unit here is a Brantola. Not sure if you can see that. Made in my own city at the Brantford Piano Case Company, and it's a Style E. This is my favorite one because it just has more character to it. And this one doesn't work. It will not crank. I've tried winding it and there doesn't appear to be any spring tension there, so I'm gonna have to rip it apart and figure out what's going on. Also, somebody had worked on this at some point because I cannot get this to turn. I don't know what's going on with that. I can't even pull it out. Theoretically, this should just pop out, but it's not. And yeah, this should be on that side, because when this tone arm goes to this side, it clicks this lever to shut the player off. Still spins though. On this side you have the crank hole, and that's the crank, and this little lever on the right is to control the volume. Kind of a unique design, because I was kind of wondering, how do you turn the volume down on these things? And that's how you do it. They both have the same style. Yeah. This one here, it's very unusual because there is absolutely no manufacturing name of any kind. You look on the lid, there's nothing. You look on the reproducer, there's nothing. I've even popped the bullshit screen that somebody had put on there. There's nothing in there. I've even popped off the turntable in hopes of finding something underneath there. Nope. It uses the same style speed dial as that one. The felt that's on this turntable is actually one that I had brought from upstairs. That old Columbia phonograph that I had, somebody had put this over top, and I thought, yeah, no. I tried to put it on this one, and it's a little too small. I'm not entirely sure what this thing is. I have no clue what that is for. I've never seen something like that before. So the issue with this no-name phonograph, right off the bat you probably noticed, there ain't much holding the lid on. Those are the only two screws, that one and that one, holding this lid to the cabinet and the support arm. But there's absolutely nothing else keeping that lid on. I almost dropped it out in the driveway. The other issue with this phonograph is the speed adjuster. That little dial there? Yeah, it doesn't do anything. Like, there's absolutely... yeah. there's a little appendage that's supposed to go from here to here, and it controls the speed of the governor. Yeah, that's missing. Other than that, though, this one actually winds up. The tone arm could use a little bit of work. I'm not entirely sure. Oh, fuck. Okay, well, that just came off in my hand, so there's my answer there. It looks like it's missing. It's missing something. Yeah, there would have been a screw there, so that's not a problem. Just get a screw and it will be fine. I'm pretty sure that this is all backwards. Whoever put this together, it's all backwards. Ow, oh, just poked myself in the wrist. But yeah, so this screw hole actually goes on like that, and this head is actually supposed to be flipped. This is supposed to be flipped the other way. Yeah, so it's all backwards. Oh well, not a big deal. Yeah, there's no rubber gasket anymore. In fact, that's that's part of it right there. This front grille probably looked like that at one time. But I guess somebody got pissed off with it, or they banged into it and broke it. As you can see on the back side, they shoved all those pins in there. I don't know what they were thinking when they did that, but it's just this design, though. It's not, it stands out more than than anything else. As soon as you look at it, you're drawn to this bizarre looking pattern. I honestly don't know what year this was made, or if it's not original, I can tell you that. The horn, it's made out of solid freaking wood, man. Holy crap. Even that one, made out of solid wood. The Victrolas upstairs, they're made out of some kind of a steel. Unfortunately, the shelves are missing. The little tracks for them to slide on, they're gone. The Brantola still has the shelves inside. Unfortunately, with the door, the veneer's coming off, even on the side there. So I'm going to have to take the door off in order to fix that. I'm going to try to apply some steam to this to get the veneer to come off completely. And then I'm going to put wood glue down and then put a bunch of weights on it. Trying to open this door carefully so you can take a little peek inside. Yep, has all the shelves in it, which is pretty cool. It's a shame that the no-name one doesn't have any shelves, but it must have been a project that somebody had started and then abandoned it because they couldn't get it to work. Here we have the motor from the Brantola, and upside down it says the motor of quality. This is the motor that does not wind up. I cannot get it to wind at all. In fact, to demonstrate it without the use of a crank, yeah, I'm turning that with my hand, and there's absolutely there's no tension whatsoever. I can't seem to get the turntable to come off, but we'll deal with that after. These are the spring barrels, and what concerns me is that the one on top, that one, has a lot of rust and pitting on it, and the bottom one doesn't. So I'm kind of confused with what's going on there. I really don't know why one is rusty and the other one isn't. Anyway, I'm doing a comparison just to see if these two are in fact the same. This is the speed lever. When you turn it, it moves this little felt pad, and it pushes on the governor to make it faster or slower. I know this one probably needs just a spring and life will be good again. It needs to be cleaned up real bad. It's just caked with grease. I'm hoping that it's just the top spring barrel that's broken and the one on the bottom's fine, because this is a dual action spring. We get to play one of my most favorite games called Someone's Been In Here Before. So this is the motor that came out of the Brantola. That's the rest of it right there on the table. The one on the left is the no-name record player. This drum really looks bad. It's got a lot of rust on the outside, which I don't understand why, because the bottom one shows no rust at all. The top one looks like it's been in the ocean. I really don't understand how it could look like that. But that's not the point. Check this out. Holy moly. In case you don't know, that there is welding blobs. Somebody had tried to weld the spring back onto the center pin. And, well, there you go. This is the result. Why you should never, ever weld spring steel. When you heat this kind of metal, it gets brittle and then breaks. Like, look at that. Yeah, there's no chance in hell I'm going to be able to save that. Even if I did try to fix this spring to get it to catch onto that little pin there, there'd just be no way, because this part of the spring has been compromised. You can tell that it has that bluish brown look to it. That's been heated. So if I try to wind it, it's going to split, and yeah. So I have to replace this entire spring. And it's also rusted, which kind of goes with the exterior of the drum. But, yep, doesn't get any better than that. Well, I'm going to flip the other side over and... Okay, well, yeah. Somebody's been in you too, because that screw head no longer looks like that. Alright, so getting that last screw out, it's always a pain in the butt. And it's always true what they say. The last screw is always a pain to get out. This screw is already like this, but there's just no way to grip onto it unless you have a special screwdriver head like that. Got that little prick out of there. Yep, that was causing me all my troubles right now. Not using that again. Right, we're gonna be taking a look at it at the same time I am. I don't know what to expect inside this drum. I'm hoping it doesn't blast out in my face. Okay, so it's not broken. I don't think it is. It doesn't appear to be broken. This spring seems to have more tension to it, but that grease is like... I've never seen anything that bad before. It's well over 100 years old. Well, that's good news, so I just have to do the one spring. This one's fine. Okay, so I'm going to put the Brantola on the back burner. We know that it needs a new mainspring, so I'm just going to put that on the back burner for now, and we're going to move on to the no-name record player. As you can see, I already have a record on it. I've been doing some work to this one as well. The more and more I look at this record player, the more I notice that someone had built this by themselves. Someone had made this out of spare parts and really, like, for a do-it-yourself, this thing is pretty cool. A few things that gave it away that told me that it was homemade. Look at the doors. They don't line up. I think somebody was going to put shelves in this and then they stopped. I can't really be sure about that, but I think that's the case there. Another thing that kind of gave it away was, you see where there's screws here? That one there, there, and there. I put those in. But when I tried to screw them down, they wouldn't screw down because nobody had drilled the holes for the turntable. And this is cut in such an awkward shape that it doesn't quite line up like this one does. There's no denying it. It is a kit record player that somebody had built. The tone arm, for example, was put on backwards. This piece here was flipped upside down. And this was twisted the other way. So right there is the screw that holds both halves of the tone arm together. And that was missing. And somebody had the screw hole on this one pointing up here when it should have been down here meeting up, but it wasn't. The speed control thing, I have not been able to get that to work because I haven't been able to find a part for it. As I said, this is all leftover bits and pieces, so this speed control dial probably would have come out of a record player like this, as you can see. And I guess they couldn't find the proper hookups for it. Basically, I'm just finishing this project that somebody else had stopped and gave up on. It is able to play a record. There's no problem there. However, in order for it to play a record, it has to play at a certain speed. Now, with that being said, I don't have a speed adjuster, so this knob here is just fixed in place now. It doesn't do anything. This is the motor out from the no-name record player on the left. And I've been kind of working away on it, kind of in a redneck way. Since I'm not able to obtain a speed regulator for this thing, because after all, the more and more I look at this thing, it's a do-it-yourself kit. Like there's even not a single stamping or a single name on this entire motor plate. So yeah, like the more and more I look at it, it's a do-it-yourself. Even when you look at the screw holes, that one is so close to the edge, and so is that one. That one's not that close, neither is that one. But even the shape of it, like the shape of the board, it's not a perfect square. There's it just seems to be crudely cut, but that's not a big deal. This is the speed control dial here. This would have been responsible for linking up to the adjuster here for the governor. Well, since I'm not able to find whatever the heck this part is that they're depicting, I decided to just get a thumbtack. It's so bad. I don't recommend this, but you know what? This record player was built on a budget, and we're ending it on a budget. I think I got this set just right. That seems about right. Alright, so this is the new home of the no-name phonograph in the principal's office at the school that I work at. It took nothing to get this thing going. Just a little bit of glue and reupholstering and elbow grease, and yeah, she's a fully functioning unit. Not bad for a do-it-yourself kit. So the screen on the front, the grill cover, I just found some scrap fabric in the art supply room here at the school, and I put it in there, and it looks really nice. It actually looks like it was meant to be there. The inside is pretty much the same. I thought about getting some red felt to match everything here. I repaired the hinge on the lid, so now the lid's not coming off anymore. Nice and solid again. And of course I had to drill some holes into the cabinet for the screws to fit, because this would just fall right out. The only thing that was holding this turntable in was the crank on the right. And yeah, just to recap, the tone arm was all backwards. I had to fix that. That's been done, and this doesn't do anything anymore. It's just for show. The only thing that's regulating the speed is a thumbtack and some hot glue, because again, not wanting to spend any money on it. So we're going to crank this thing up, and we're going to play the record.